Welcome to the SBC Way Breakthrough Curriculum into Action series. My name is James Bewsey and I'm going to be your host for today's session. Today's session is all about getting started with STEM, the SBC Way. And the aims for this session are, well, primarily to provide you with an overview of how your school can develop and deliver a STEM-rich curriculum. And that's split into three parts: clarifying what we mean by STEM, exploring the STEM Nation Award, and signposting you to SBC Way STEM resources. Now, these sessions, this interaction series, is designed to provide a hybrid professional learning approach. Ideally, we'd be out one-to-one in schools, but that's just not feasible with the geography and resource. So this hybrid approach with recorded sessions, but an in-school facilitator guiding you through the content is, we hope, a good way going forward. The sessions will involve some core input, reflective questions, a follow-up task, and an opportunity to bring that all together to lead new learning forward. The content might vary in terms of order, but the structure will be the same. So if you're sitting comfortably, let's begin. So what do we mean by STEM? STEM means science, technology, engineering, and maths. And the idea originally, it was to try and address the decline in people going into STEM careers. In education, it's about growing and instilling an interest in these four subjects. But it's more than that. There's an ever-growing place for digital technology and skills across all elements of STEM, not just within the technology subject area. There's an increasing understanding of the wider skill benefits, the meta skills, when exploring STEM subjects. For example, developing initiative, critical thinking, and leadership. There are numerous opportunities for genuine cross-curricular interdisciplinary learning, which can be founded on STEM outcomes. And there's a growing number of course pathways available to our high school students which are linked to STEM subjects. So in answer to the question, what is STEM? Well, STEM is the four subjects: science, technology, engineering, and maths, but it's also about skills, it's about connections, and it's about opportunities. Why is STEM important? STEM is important for four main reasons. Firstly, STEM and the subjects and the learning that comes with it is incredibly motivating. And we know that motivation is a prerequisite for deep learning. Now, advances in STEM, secondly, have brought about dramatic improvements in our quality of life, our physical and natural environments, and our nation's health and well-being. Also, STEM skills are key to the Scottish economy. Apparently, according to some very clever people, there's a shortfall, year-on-year shortfall, of approximately 400,000 STEM-related graduate jobs across the UK. We need to fill those. And STEM-related skills, we know, are becoming more and more sought after by employers. So STEM is important because of the ultimate outcome and the ultimate impact it has on society. STEM is also important because of this idea of STEM or science capital. So I'm just going to share a brief video with you and say no more because it says it all.
Research shows that most students find science interesting. But we're still facing a STEM skills gap. And the students taking STEM subjects after 16 still fall into roughly the same gender, ethnic and social groups as they did 20 years ago. That's why BP, King's College London and the Science Museum are collaborating to develop, measure and test a new concept that gets to the heart of how people engage with science. It's called Science Capital. A person's science capital is like a holdall or bag that they carry around with them, into which they put all their science-related knowledge, attitudes, skills and experiences. The science capital each person has splits into four main types: what you know, how you think, what you do, and who you know. Everyone has different amounts of science capital, and this affects whether they feel, yes, science is for me, or not. Our research shows that the more science capital a child has, the more likely they are to follow STEM subjects. Science capital comes from a variety of sources, including school, home and family, out-of-school science learning, and the things people experience in their everyday lives. It helps us see all the influences that lead to students choosing STEM subjects or not, and understand why different groups aren't taking them further. We can also use science capital as a tool to develop more effective ways of supporting young people to engage with science. And by building the science capital of all children, more students from more diverse backgrounds will engage with science throughout their lives. Together, we can use the concept of science capital not only to bridge the STEM skills gap, but also to improve the life chances of all our children.
Okay. Science capital is an interesting idea, and I think that's something to consider and mull over going forward. Now, there are a number of challenges to realizing the hopes of a STEM nation and to address some of those challenges now. If we want to make genuine progress, we need to try and think through what these challenges might be. Now, for example, many children and young people actually don't see themselves as STEM people. They just don't recognize themselves in the world of STEM. STEM is often seen as geeky or for those crazy scientists. It's a genuine challenge. The attitudes of adults, the experiences of adults around children and young people can have a negative impact, and so we need to do something to change that. Many children and young people lack the motivating and enriching experiences that build STEM capital. There's still genuine feelings of anxiety about mathematics. How many of us have heard a child say, I can't do maths, I can't do this? Still exists despite real efforts to try and change that. There's the ongoing gender imbalance across STEM, which means that girls don't see themselves represented in STEM careers. And linked to this is a similar equity imbalance with underrepresentation in STEM careers of young people from deprived areas. And lastly, there is a lack of subject knowledge in early years, primary or additional support need provision, and that leads to limited STEM learning for children. These are all very genuine challenges, and we need to try and address them. So how might we address those to ensure that our system and our offer is as good as it can be? I'm just going to ask you to take a moment before we go further, and your facilitator can pause the video while you discuss these questions amongst yourselves. What's caught your attention from this initial input? Why? And how do you feel about STEM or about teaching STEM? Discuss, click pause, come back in a moment. So how could we move forward to address the numerous challenges and to support a shift in STEM outcomes? Education Scotland have developed the STEM Nation Award. And as part of our SBC Way for STEM, we're advocating this as a model for all schools when developing their STEM curriculum. Now, everybody likes an award, we like a medal, a certificate, but this is more than that, because actually this award is a really helpful framework for thinking through quality STEM in our schools. And there are 5 parts to it. So we've got initially leadership in STEM. We've got STEM family learning. We've got employability and STEM partnership working. 4th part is STEM curriculum and learner pathways. And finally, equity and equality in STEM. And we're going to go through each of those briefly now. Full details and greater depth is provided through the STEM in Action series of professional learning sessions, which will actually be hosted by Alison following this first session. So how might these look and feel in your school? We're already doing a lot of STEM activity. If we take the first one, leadership in STEM, that's about celebrating effective leadership at all levels, including children and young people leading STEM learning. That can be as simple as just ensuring that STEM is a genuine part of your school improvement plan. It could be running the Young STEM Ambassadors or the Young STEM Leaders Award and program. Really effective. I'll come to that in a bit. It's about having genuine professional learning for staff about STEM. That's leadership in STEM. STEM family learning, which recognises the commitment to family learning and practice, which is helping to build the STEM capital of learners and their families. It can involve hosting family workshops or open afternoons with a STEM focus. It's the world of work events when we invite parents in to talk about what they do. It's about sharing updates on STEM activity, whether it be through newsletters or other social media. It's getting families involved, which is part of shifting attitudes. The third part is employability in STEM partnership working, which celebrates sustained collaboration between settings and their STEM partners to develop learners' STEM and employability skills. That's about having visitors into school, sharing their STEM experience and expertise. It's about visits to local businesses and premises. It's about partnerships with your developing young workforce team who are normally based in your local high school but are keen to work and can support primary school STEM activity. Fourth part is maybe the more obvious one, the STEM curriculum and learner pathways, recognises the work of settings in developing an aspiring STEM curriculum and associated learner pathways. This is about having STEM as a feature of your curriculum rationale. You're valuing it as a school. It's about having a progression to support learning. And I'll come on to what we're doing as an SBC Way pathway for this in the absence of anything in your own school. It's about assessing those wider skills, about looking for evidence of learning across STEM subjects. And the final part is equity and equality in STEM, which celebrates the work settings are undertaking to address the issues of equity and equality in STEM. And this is really key. It's about tackling stereotypes. How is your curriculum, how are your approaches tackling those stereotypes, whether they be gender, whether they be ethnicity, whether they be background? What experiences are you doing to build STEM capital? And how are you allocating resources to ensure that everybody, without any barriers, are overcome to ensure quality STEM experience? So those 5 parts are, yes, they're a shiny award, but they're actually a really helpful model for thinking about STEM in our schools. So I'm going to ask you just to take a moment. You can see the 5 parts on the screen there. What do you believe you're already doing that fits with that STEM Nation model under those 5 headings? And what, with just a brief conversation, could be some quick wins, things that you can go, yeah, we're doing that. Or, oh, if we just did this, then we'd be moving in the right direction. So your in-school facilitator, please pause the video when you're ready and then click play when you finish your discussion to move on. Okay, so we have explored the context, the what and the why of STEM. We've explored the STEM Nation Award, the model, the framework for moving forward as a school. So let's explore now some of the practical supports and resources which are available to you right now, today. Everything to do with the SBC Way curriculum is available through the SBC Way Launchpad. You can see the home screen on your in front of you here, and there's the QR code that will enable you to access it. You might want to just do that with your mobile phone while you're watching, or you might have your iPad to hand. You may already have it saved as a favorite. It does have everything you need for all elements of the curriculum, and it's continually added to. Important reminder, a lot of external resources or files are hosted in Glow. They're in the Schoolhouse storage system. And you do need to be logged into Glow to access them. So if ever you get an error message saying, I can't access this, or you need permission, you don't. It's just you need to be logged into Glow. That's almost definitely going to be the issue if you can't access a particular link. Okay, so once you're into that, so you go to Launchpad, you're looking for core business, and then you're looking for breakthrough curriculum, and you're looking for STEM. All right, so within the STEM, we've got a number of resources. And the first one, the main one, is the STEM Padlet. And this is the place where all the important information is curated. And you can see there's just a screenshot of what's available. There's different sections to help you think through STEM. There's that introducing STEM, some of those key ideas and messages. There's the steps to success. Now, this yellow bit here, that's really important. Currently underway is the pathway for STEM, which has been developed by early years primary and secondary colleagues who are thinking about what are the fundamental important skills which our children and young people must experience during their early years and primary career so that they are ready to really go for it in secondary. And it's about giving that love and enjoyment of STEM without feeling like we've kind of crowd everything into the curriculum. So there's a real careful, wise discussions going on. Watch this space. It's coming soon. The other main thing to point out here is the option where it says resources. That one box there actually takes you to a secondary space where there is a wealth of resources organized under science, technologies, engineering, maths, and other supports. Loads of practical ideas through STEM, from stories, through technologies, etc., to support you in the classroom when you're thinking about your STEM curriculum. So please do access that, explore that, but that can be one of your follow-up tasks after this session. Second thing that's available to support you is the STEM Scott Borders team. Alison, who I'll mention shortly, she curates this and she puts regular updates on here, just things to you be aware of, newsletters, opportunities, professional learning. So I would encourage you to become a member of that team and consider keeping an eye on what's coming up. So you can join that. It's through team, search STEM Scott Borders, and Alison will let you join that team. We've also got some really good quality support from SERC. Now, SERC, it's a funny acronym, and it stands for the Scottish Schools Education Research Centre. It's a mouthful. They offer a wide range of STEM engagement and enrichment programs across Scotland. There are three things that are particularly helpful for us. The first one is the Inspiring Sustainable Approach to STEM program. And as an authority, SBC is part of this pilot program. And this sees 9 teachers from across our 9 clusters. So these are primary teachers from our primary schools who are going to join this program. They started it just before the summer. And they're going to become a kind of a lead, a champion for STEM in their school this year, and then spreading that experience and that knowledge over the next 3 years. They're going to be taking part in some really good quality professional learning, including residential. SERC also provide regular bulletins, which provide STEM ideas, some resources, and professional learning opportunities. And finally, SERC oversee the Young STEM Leader program. And this is a really great way of getting particularly older, primary 6, primary 7 students engaged and excited about STEM and leading opportunities and activities for younger. And where it works really well is actually a partnership with your local secondary school, where you could get some of your high school pupils leading some of the activities for younger learners. So that's SERC. And the final but most important support that's available is Alison Heaton. Alison is seconded out of St Boswell's Primary School. She's a Primary Science Development Officer, which is funded by RAISE, Raising Aspirations in Science Education. Alison is passionate about primary science and primary STEM. She can be found, and she tweets, or well, I don't know, what do you do? Do you tweet? Do you X? She's on X at STEM Borders, and her email address is there. Should you want to contact her, please do. She's keen to work with you. She's been out to a number of our schools over last term, delivering really practical hands-on workshops with teachers in the classroom. So please do utilize Alison. She's available to come out and run after-school CAT sessions. She wants to come in and team teach with you. She is developing her expertise and wants to share that further. Okay. So before we finish, just a final time of reflection. I'm going to ask you to think, how might the STEM Padlet support your current STEM approaches? And could you introduce the Young STEM Leaders program in your school? Pause, have a bit of a discussion, and when you're ready, your in-school facilitator can click play as we do the final straight of this session. Okay. So what now? We've had the input. What do we do? There are 3 things that I'm going to propose. First thing is access. use the Launchpad, explore the materials in the Padlet, explore the materials or join the team and use that to feed your thinking and your planning. Complete the audit. I'll come to it in a minute. There's a self-evaluation tool that we've developed that will help you as a school identify where you are and what your next steps are to being a STEM-rich school. And register for the STEM Nation Award. You don't need to do anything other than say we're interested, but registering it is that one small step towards that approach and using that model and framework. The STEM tool evaluation tool is just a way to think through those 5 components of the STEM Nation Award, but thinking how do we use them in our school to improve our STEM curriculum. So there are a series of statements, and you're asked to just score yourself against those statements. You then come out at the end with identifying where you're sitting in relation to each of those 5 components. You can say where your particular strengths are, and then you plan for your next steps, and it'll help you on your journey. So encourage you to do that as a team. And as I said, register. The link's available. All of these things are available on the Padlet, and just follow the link, register. Nothing is needed to be done more than that just now. So we've come to the end. Today was about providing an overview for you on how you and your school can develop and deliver a STEM-rich curriculum. We talked about what we mean by STEM, why it's important. We talked about some of the challenges to STEM, and we heard about this idea of science or STEM capital. We explored the STEM Nation Award, not just a shiny award, although we like it, but a framework, a model for thinking about how we can make our STEM-rich school. And then we explored some of the supports that are available, primarily of which is Alison Heaton as our Primary Science Development Officer. What are you going to do next? 3 things. There are a series of sessions available after this to explore each of the components of the STEM Nation Award. There are shorter sessions which will be hosted by Alison herself. There's an upcoming STEM data literacy live lesson, which is run in conjunction with our Inspire team. That's on Friday, the 27th of September in the morning. Really easy way to do something STEM. Using the iPads, engage in the live lesson, get students thinking about and learning in a STEM way. And finally, if you've got any requests for support, you just want some input, Alison is more than happy to engage with it and discuss bespoke training with you. Get in touch with Alison via the Professional Learning Team email address. It's on the screen there. All that's left to say is, thank you very much for your time. I would really appreciate you just taking a moment to evaluate today's session, because we need to get better. We can only get better with feedback. That's how we learn in the classroom. And it'd be really helpful to know overall what you thought of it, what went well, what could make it better. Please use the QR code there. You're looking to select the Getting Started with STEM session. Give it a score out of 5 and give us some feedback to help make these sessions better. We appreciate they're not perfect. We appreciate in-person is best, but we're working the best we can to put these sessions together. Thanks very much for your time, your engagement, and your ongoing enthusiasm. Have a good day.